Hello and welcome back to QU All Access. I'm Ryan Snyder. Derek, it's great to be back on the set.
Ryan, good to have you back. I missed you a little bit. Sarah was all right, though. On this week's episode, we'll take a look at QU students, how they took a plunge for a cause.
And we'll feature a soccer trio that's looking to leave behind a legacy.
Topping our news at the halfway point, residents in the Student Living Center started gathering their belongings in twos when the floodgates opened on the third floor. QU All Access took a dive into the waters to find out how students are staying afloat.
A student in the SLC on the third floor left their sink on for an extended period of time with the drain plugged. This careless mistake resulted in a building-wide flood from the third floor down to the first floor. QU All Access spoke to Graduate Assistant to Residence Life Anjay Clark to get more details on the damage done.
On Wednesday, we addressed the issue in the morning and didn't think that there was going to be that much damage. And then Wednesday evening, after maintenance had gone in the room, we found out that there was a lot of internal wall damage, so we needed to go in and dry out all the walls.
Clark went on to say that Service Master had been working all day and night to get the problem resolved in the Student Living Center. QU All Access also sat down with Kayla Hamilton, who is a resident of one of the suites that was affected by the flood.
Walked in to the suite that was basically right below the actual flooding, and it was really bad. Like, you could see the water dripping from above from the third floor, and it was just a mess.
Hamilton, along with about 17 other students, were not allowed in their suites for 7 days while the water was drying out of the building. Reporting for QU All Access, I'm Derek Lambert.
Flooding in the SLC isn't the only water that students dove into this past week. On Saturday, Quincy kicked off the annual Polar Plunge at Moorman Park. Plungers from Quincy University, Culver Stockton College, and John Wood Community College were excited to jump into the ice-cold lake for a good cause. All proceeds went to help fund athletes of Special Olympics. This hit home for certain participants whose family or friends benefit from the proceeds.
Super excited to plunge. This is my 29th plunge, and I do it to support my
for those of you on the other side of the lake, look out for the big wave coming your way.
I'm really pumped for this.
Quincy's plunge teams raised a grand total of over $15,000, and everyone went home a winner.
Last week, a distributed denial of service attack crashed QU's server and made using the internet difficult for students. The Office of Information Technology quickly responded and warned students of the attack. The networks used by students, labs, and classrooms were shut down for 24 hours. IT currently doesn't know who initiated the attack or the motivation, but they do know what caused it.
A distributed denial of service attack is when many computers connect to you but don't actually follow through. Think of it like trying to get through a door. You're in a room full of people. Normally you can walk out a door, but if all the people walk up to the door and then walk away, they get in your way and you can't get through the door.
Hayes also added that QU students should still be careful with entering personal information on the internet.
With spring break next week, many students are packing for trips and getting ready to relax at home. We decided to find out what QU students will be doing over their spring break, including a special trip by one of our own QU All Access anchors.
I'm just going home. I'm going to work a lot and just relax, enjoy the time off school. I always go to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and so that's the last Saturday we're home.
I'm going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Going to visit my girlfriend's family and just kind of see what their culture and everything's about.
I'm just going to go home, hang out with family and friends. Haven't been home in a while. It's been a couple months. And then I'll probably most looking forward to a Blues-Blackhawks game next Wednesday night. It's always a good rivalry.
I'm going home for spring break, which is in California. I am looking forward to being home and not in Quincy and enjoying the 80-degree weather. I'm also surprising my family. They don't know I'm coming home, so that's going to be fun too.
This weekend I'm going to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville to visit two of my friends from high school. So Taylor Lomendale's coming along with me. So.
I'm actually heading to Chicago with my good buddy Kyle Frazier, so I'm looking forward to getting away from the campus lifestyle here for a little bit, getting a break from school, even soccer, and just kind of laying low and seeing the city life up there. So.
A common misconception concerning spring break is that it requires alcohol in order to be fun. However, according to USAtoday.com, there are other ways to have a good time that don't include alcohol. The website offers college students a few alternatives for staying sober. For about the same cost of spending one night in a hotel room, you could take a hot air balloon ride to enjoy the view of a city you have never seen before. Taking a road trip with friends or going to a concert can also be budget friendly without alcohol. Finally, simply having a Netflix marathon or relaxing at home could be a break that you really needed. Coming up, we'll take a look at the responses Korea is receiving for their weapons testing. And we'll see how one Florida family has received a monstrous surprise. We'll be right back.
Well, my first thought was, Brother Ed has set us up. He's got someone hiding in there. They're getting ready to jump out of the curtain and scare us, but yeah, there was no one else there, and I couldn't explain it. It's just one of those phenomena.
I've always been a skeptic, and I've always thought that there was a rational explanation for all things like that, but being there when that all happened, we didn't have a rational explanation for why that happened.
There it was. Did you hear it?
Oh my God.
Oh gosh, wait, did you see that?
The future of the program is very bright. It's an exciting time on QU campus because we have QU TV. We have a television station where students can experience working as a director, an anchor, a reporter, photographer, doing weather, doing sports. We also have a newspaper where students can report, be photo editors, be executive editors. We've got a lot of opportunity there working on the student newspaper. We also provide students with the opportunity to do magazine articles with heavy research and giving them a little bit more time to expand on articles and do some in-depth investigative work. Moving forward, it's exciting because all of the skills they learn in every avenue will translate into what we have in the future, and web writing and mobile writing and all of our distribution platforms. We have an incredible opportunity to grow the department, to grow the program, and to grow students into excellent journalists.
Yes. Growing up, I had one deaf friend, and that was the only deaf person I knew before coming to school here at QU. And now I regularly get to hang out and socialize with the deaf community, which has been awesome. Sign language isn't exactly like learning another spoken language because you use your body, facial expressions, your hands are your instruments. So it is definitely learning a new language. It has its own grammar and syntax and everything. It's not exactly like English like a lot of people think it is.
Welcome back. For this weekly presidential campaign, we are covering the results of Super Tuesday. For Hillary Clinton, Super Tuesday solidified her standing as the Democratic frontrunner.
Clinton is now halfway to the number of delegates needed to clinch the nomination. And in the aftermath of their wins, all candidates praised supporters and vowed to fight on. CNN's correspondent Jeff Zeleny has more.
I am so delighted to be here with you in Florida.
Hillary Clinton is eyeing the Florida primary in just 2 weeks as one of the key contests that could wind down the Democratic campaign.
What a Super Tuesday!
A big night, sending 7 states and nearly 500 delegates Clinton's way. Bernie Sanders' path may be narrowing, but after winning 4 states Tuesday night, he said any talk of Clinton locking up the nomination is premature.
This is not a general election. It's not winner take all.
But the Democratic race is sounding more and more like just that, a general election fight.
America never stopped being great. We have to make America whole. Fill in what's been hollowed out. We have to make strong the broken places, restitch the bonds of trust and respect across our country.
The patriotic cheers show that Donald Trump can fire up Democrats too. She didn't mention his name, but he's already invoking hers.
I watched Hillary's speech. She wants to make America whole again, and I'm trying to figure out what is that all about.
Before any Clinton-Trump match takes shape, she has Sanders to contend with. He's pledging to stay in the race until the convention, with friendlier contests coming up in Kansas and Nebraska, Maine and Michigan. The Clinton campaign released a memo today saying its rival might win more states, but called it mathematically impossible for Senator Sanders to catch up. It's a delicate dance for Clinton, who 8 years ago bristled at calls for her to step aside.
People say to me all the time, well, are you going to keep going? Well, yes, of course I'm going to keep going.
For Republicans, Donald Trump has widened his lead in the race for the presidential nomination.
But some Republicans are calling to unify behind another candidate in a bid to unseat the real estate mogul before it's too late. CNN's Sarah Murray reports.
Riding high on a string of 7 Super Tuesday wins,
I feel awfully good.
Donald Trump, now with a wide lead in the delegate fight, may be on the cusp of locking down the Republican nomination.
It's only too bad that winner didn't take all. Because if winner took all, this thing is over. We're just having a celebration.
As he steels himself for a potential general election fight,
Look, I'm a unifier. I know people are going to find that a little bit hard to believe, but believe me, I am a unifier. Once we get all of this finished, I'm going to go after one person. That's Hillary Clinton.
Trump's vowing to cut deals and work more closely with the Washington establishment than President Obama.
Does he ever go and deal with Congress anymore? Does he ever speak to the Senate?
But the establishment isn't having it.
I will not support Donald Trump now, and I will not support him should he move on.
Republican leaders are still hoping someone can mount a challenge, as some suggest Ted Cruz, who won 3 states last night, could be the Trump alternative.
I'm anybody but Trump. Ted and I are in the same party. Donald Trump is an interloper. I don't trust him.
And Ohio Governor John Kasich faces increasing pressure to step aside, including from supporters of Marco Rubio.
There's no honorable mention in the nomination. John Kasich has run a good race, and he'll continue to run a good race, but there's no path to victory for him.
The field does appear to be winnowing. Today, Dr. Ben Carson put out a statement saying, "I do not see a political path forward," adding he will not attend Thursday's debate. While Rubio, trailing Trump and Cruz in the delegate fight, still insists there's time for a comeback.
Usually in a race like this, you'd have a front runner, and at this point people would be saying, you need to drop out and rally around the front runner for the sake of the party. They're saying the opposite now. There will never come a time in this race where our supporters are asking us to get out and rally around Donald Trump.
All as Trump takes aim at the Florida senator.
I know it was a very tough night for Marco Rubio. He had a tough night.
Hoping to finish Rubio off right here in his home state.
But you know what? We're going to go to Florida. We're going to spend so much time in Florida.
Last week, we looked at how North Korea is testing nuclear missiles.
And we'll now have a follow-up on what consequences North Korea is facing. CNN's Richard Roth has the story.
No sooner had the Security Council unanimously approved more sanctions on North Korea than the question arose, will they work? Some ambassadors were hopeful, calling this resolution unprecedented in toughness. U.S. Ambassador Samantha Power acknowledged there are loopholes that North Korea could drive a truck through, but she reminded her fellow ambassadors of the risks if the sanctions and more pressure do not work.
With each nuclear test and launch using ballistic missile technology, the DPRK improves its capability to carry out a nuclear missile attack not only in the region but also a continent away. That means having the ability to strike most of the countries sitting on this council. Think about that. North Korea is the only country in the entire world that has conducted a nuclear test in the 21st century. In fact, it has conducted not 1 nuclear test, but 4.
North Korea will still be able to buy oil. China, its main trading partner, says it doesn't really favor sanctions, but hopes this resolution will finally bring North Korea into the mode of dialogue. Richard Roth, CNN, United Nations.
Coming up, we'll take a look at what kind of weather you can expect over spring break.
And we'll show you how sleep could be the answer to better grades. Stay with us.
QUTV is more than a news outlet.
1 in 5 undergrads work at least 35 hours a week, year-round.
Students involved with QUTV learn life lessons, create lasting memories, and gain the experience needed to succeed in future careers.
Students need to be involved with QUTV as a viewer or as a participant because we need to know what's going on around our campus.
Knowledge is powerful, and QUTV News serves to inform not only the students, but the Quincy University community as a reliable and powerful news network.
Join me, Coach Marty Bell, head basketball coach of the Quincy University Hawks, live from Chicks on the River every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. or on ESPN 1440 for the Coach Marty Bell Show. Hear from our coaches and players as Ben and I recap the previous games and preview our upcoming opponents. Grab your friends and family and come out to Chicks on the River for a great meal and meet the Hawks. QU men's basketball, Chicks on the River, and ESPN 1440. A winning combination. And as always, it truly is.
It isn't a building. It isn't an arena or field. It isn't a classroom. It's a friendship. It's the bonds you form. It's an opportunity. It's the experience. It's a cute thing. Schedule your visit today.
Welcome back. We might be in the clear for snow, but April showers may come a little bit earlier this year.
I don't know about the rain, but I'm ready for spring, Ryan. We now go to Lainey Wade for an extended look into next week's weather forecast. Lainey?
Well, if you were lucky enough, then you probably caught a quick glimpse of the sun before the clouds rolled back in and the dark skies came out. And the wind started blowing and it got really cold once again. And if you're sticking around here for spring break, I hope if you're looking to catch the sun, then I would do it this weekend because this week is going to be all about the rain. And I know it's kind of down because it's spring break, so hopefully everybody's going home, but if you're not, we'll see. On Friday, March 4th, it's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 51. Then we move into Saturday, and the sun comes out, and this is when you're really going to get all your sun. And the high is going to only reach 52, but hey, it's in the 50s. Should be a pretty nice day. Then on Sunday, wrapping up our weekend, it's going to be partly cloudy once again, and we're going to warm up to 59. So Sunday is the ideal day to get out there and enjoy the weekend because the week is going to look pretty dark and gloomy. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we are having rain, showers, showers, showers. So I'm sure the rain will let up. So if you're needing to get out there and do stuff, you can. On Monday, the high is going to reach 65. On Tuesday, the high reaches 68, which is nice. And then on Wednesday, it goes to 56. And on Thursday, the rain will disappear, but the clouds are going to stick around as the high only reaches 53. So if you're looking to catch that sun, like I said, get out there this weekend. And if you're staying around here at Quincy, you're going to see mostly showers all week. But hey, at least it's showers and not snow. That about wraps it up for this weekly Hawks forecast. I'm Lainey Wade. Back to you guys at the desk.
From dangers in other countries to a threat right here in the United States, a Florida family became terrified when they discovered a 9-foot alligator in their pool.
Reporter Lori Davison tells us what happened and, more importantly, how they got the gator to leave.
Let's just call him a most unwelcome house guest. When Craig Lear went to his backyard patio to let the family's cats out, he noticed something strange in the pool.
I saw a bubble in the pool and I thought a golf ball came through the screen. So I went up and I looked, I didn't see a golf ball, and looked in the deep end and there was a big gator.
Craig rushed inside to tell his wife, who was taking care of their 6-month-old son, Austin.
The gator came in right from the pond. It is mating season, so he must have been out looking for something.
The Lears called a trapper who removed the gator from the pool.
He came out, he used a lasso effect, wrapped him up, and it was pretty scary. At one point we had all the waves rocking in the pool from just the gator thrashing in the pool, but then he tired him out and just pulled him out and right out the door.
The Lears say the gator was a big one. It measured 9 feet long. Craig says he'd been hanging around the area for a while.
Usually he sunbathes out there on the island. Just once recently we have seen him over here on the fairway. So it seems like he's been trying to relocate to another pond or something, so our house got in the way.
Through it all, baby Austin was blissfully unaware of what was happening.
Oh yes, I don't think he realizes the magnitude of what he just experienced.
But someday, Mom and Dad will have a whale of a tale to tell him about the time a gator showed up in the family pool. In Lakeland, Lori Davison, Bay News 9.
I don't know what I would do if I found an alligator in my backyard.
You know, Derek, luckily for us, the scariest thing you're probably going to have to worry about is homework over spring break. But looking at the size of that gator, I don't know what I'd be doing. But it's about that time again for QU All Access Weekly Hacks. Reporter Evan Powell joins us in the studio for the latest, Evan.
Hey everyone, I'm Evan Powell with another dose of your QU hacks to make life a little easier, one hack at a time. To excel in class, you must commit time to studying outside the classroom. If you don't, you could possibly fail the class. When it comes to studying, some students might believe the best way to study is to pull an all-nighter before an exam. The best thing you can do before the exam is to sleep. Sleep helps refresh your brain, which allows for your memory skills to work better. In turn, this allows you to remember what you studied a lot more. Not only is sleep better for your overall health, it makes it easier for your brain to concentrate. A study from Harvard Medical, Dr. Robert Stickgold says that during sleep, our brain is writing a summary. This information comes from abcnews.com. Winter is about to be over and spring is right around the corner. The changing of season means warmer weather is on its way, but also means that you can get sick easier. Cases of flu are usually high in March, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The flu spreads quickly on college campuses and isn't easy to get rid of. Some ways to prevent the flu from coming to you is to wash your hands consistently throughout the day. Sharing cups and drinks is also another way to get the flu. If you do get the flu, a good way to not spread it is to keep yourself and belongings clean, especially if you have a roommate. This information came from collegetips.com. Thanks for watching this week's Hacks. Make sure to tune in next week for more, exclusively on QU All Access. Back to you, Ryan and Derek.
Coming up, we'll see how a family name is making history in QU soccer.
And we'll see how one boy's message is making big waves. Stay with us.
Come support your Quincy University baseball team this season. The Hawks compete in the NCAA Division II Great Lakes Valley Conference. Cheer them on as they play for a conference and national championship.
Come see the new renovations at QU Stadium. The turf infield gives the Hawks a great playing surface.
Come out and have some fun and support the QU Hawks baseball team this season.
For more information on the QU Hawks baseball team, go to QUHawks.com and click on the Sports tab and select Baseball.
Welcome back. We are now joined by our very own Carly Betancourt for the latest in sports.
What do you have in store for us this week, Carly?
Thanks, guys. The Quincy University soccer team has a legacy that runs deep. The Reis family has filtered through the soccer program year after year, and next season the team will consist of 3 Reis's pieces. I stopped by and got the inside scoop on what it's like to play with the family.
With Taylor and Cooper, Quincy University just added cousin Aubrey Reis to the roster.
We've all played in high school with each other for a couple years, so we all know each other's style of play, and we can play together pretty easily since we've grown up with each other.
Always adds to team chemistry, having both of them, and it'll be cool just having so much more. We already had family here at games and stuff, but even more support, and people coming out always helps. So
Having a support system is something the family cherishes and appreciates.
Yeah, Taylor and I growing up, we always fought. I have an older brother than Taylor also, and I always got picked on. But once I got in high school and Taylor was a junior, I started riding to school with him every day, so we became closer there, and then playing with each other on the field, because we didn't really play like on a team in grade school at all. But in high school, playing with each other in the same team, we became really close.
And hopefully Aubrey and Cooper can get on the field some, so I think it'll be a good experience.
After suffering multiple injuries, Taylor Reis is back on the field and ready for action.
Well, I was all region last year, so I guess the main thing would be All-American. But before that, I would obviously love to win the GLVC and then hopefully go on and win the tournament.
With the trio looking to be on the field together next year, the Hawks are looking up for a great season. With QU All Access, I'm Carly Betancourt. With Taylor and
The men's and women's basketball teams celebrated senior night with a game against Truman State. The women capped off their night with a solid win over the Lady Bulldogs 65-53. This solidified their spot in the GLVC tournament and granted them a bye on the first round. The men unfortunately fell by 1 to the Bulldogs 83-82. However, they turned around quickly and played McKendree to earn their spot in the GLVC tournament. The women gear up to play Truman State for the third time this season at Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri. The game kicks off at 6 p.m. The men gear up to play Drury University for the second time this season after falling to the Panthers early this year. Their game tips off at 6 p.m. Friday night at Family Arena. Spring break will be pretty eventful for the QU Hawks. Baseball takes on Bellarmine in Louisville, Kentucky, along with softball versus St. Rose on March 5th. I'd also like to give a special shout out to one of our own, Ryan Snyder. He was recently voted GLVC Player of the Week. So congrats, Ryan. We're proud of you. And if you can, just throw us some stats. What was going on?
It was just a good weekend for the whole team. I was lucky enough to have some guys on base for me. I got to give a shout out to Bryn Martinez, Don Miles, and David Jacob, also Jake Walters. They did a tremendous job this weekend. Our pitching was really great. All around it was a great team effort. It was really exciting to finally get out there and play against someone that's not your teammates. We played like 12 or 15 inter-squad games, so it's nice to just get out there and be able to compete with a bunch of different, compete against a different team instead of having to play against your teammates.
Well, like I said, congrats from all of us. We're proud.
I appreciate that.
And that does it for sports.
Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Yes. Growing up, I had one deaf friend, and that was the only deaf person I knew before coming to school here at QU. And now I regularly get to hang out and socialize with the deaf community, which has been awesome. Sign language isn't exactly like learning another spoken language because you use your body, facial expressions, your hands are your instruments. So it is definitely learning a new language. It has its own grammar and syntax and everything. It's not exactly like English like a lot of people think it is.
Welcome back, and it is a story that is 6 months in the making, Derek.
A young boy in Canada threw a bottle into the ocean, and in it he left a message, but he never imagined where it would end up. Here's CNN's Eric Longley with his story.
Cape Spear, Newfoundland, the most eastern point in North America. This is where Justin Green came to visit last August with his grandfather. And like countless visitors before him, he decided to stick a message in an old plastic bottle and put it out to sea.
I think it was my grandfather's idea, and he thought it'd be always cool to have, when you throw out a bottle in the ocean, have it travel so far and someone else find it.
Except that hardly ever happens. The ocean is a big place.
I didn't think anyone would find it. I just thought it was just something just to do for fun.
Back home in Ottawa, the 12-year-old didn't give it a second thought. Until just this past week, when his father took a most unexpected call from across the Atlantic.
And he said, I found his message in a bottle. And then I, put the phone on hold, and I told Justin, and Justin kind of screamed with delight and ran over to the phone.
I was really excited, I was surprised, and I was mostly not aware of how far it went.
In just 6 months, the bottle managed to travel all the way from Cape Spear to a tiny island in the English Channel called Alderney. An incredible journey of 3,642 kilometers to an island barely 5 kilometers long. It was found there by a local civil servant.
It was fantastic, and I suppose it would mean more to Justin and me because he sent the letter.
For young Justin, a thrilling lesson in ocean currents, geography, probability, and how, against all odds, even the simplest communication can make the world a much smaller place. What do you think of that?
It's crazy. It's just...
I bet that's an experience that the boy will never forget. Have any of you ever done something like that, like write a message in a bottle?
Me personally, no.
I haven't, but I guess that's what kids do in Canada for fun.
I guess so.
I've never written a message in a bottle, and let alone thrown it into the ocean. Isn't that considered littering, perhaps?
Well, I haven't done it either, but I guess the one message that we all like to say here at at QU All Access is everyone. Hopefully you have a good spring break, and thank you for joining us in this week's episode of QU All Access. Remember to tune in online on Facebook or on Channel 97 on campus for more news anytime. For the entire QU All Access team, I'm Ryan Snyder.
And I'm Derek Lambert. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you after break, Hawks.